What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. First off, I gotta say, thank you so much for all the love on the last video. That one was a huge risk, and wow, has it taken off. I have not had that big of a start in a long time, so you know, I still got it. I've been listening to so much new music, including the new Taylor Swift record, which I don't plan on reviewing. I feel like I'm with that half of the internet that would say the mid in Midnights is an appropriate term. Y'all know I love Taylor, but on this album I really only love like Anti-Hero, Bejeweled. I like that she says Machiavellian and Mastermind, but I'm with John Caramanica in the New York Times. I think it's like a worse version of Reputation. And speaking of John Caramanica, I don't think I've said it here on the channel, but I did a Popcast episode with him. That's the New York Times big music podcast. I was his guest on a Zach Bryan episode, so if you want to hear us talking about the rise of Zach Bryan for an hour, I was honored to be the guest there, and you should check it out. Today we're just doing a yeehaw or yee-nah, and I think I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to go from worst to best. First up is Shania Twain's latest comeback song called Waking Up Dreaming. This song wasn't even really released as a country song, but a lot of people asked me to talk about the new Shania song, and I was like, don't make me say it. Don't make me say that this is like embarrassing and her voice doesn't sound good and there's so much vocal processing on it, and it just, you know, I know that it is an opportunity for people to be like, yes, queen, we love you, Shania, you can do no wrong, but like even in the realm of Kohl's Core, shopping center bops, even this is too saccharine and just, yeah, it's a yee-nah. After that, we got this song from Morgan Evans called Over For You.
How long has it been over for you?
Okay, you guys got to hear me out on this one. Morgan Evans, him and Kelsey Ballerini obviously just announced their divorce, and he was playing a show in Australia, and this live video went kind of viral of him singing a new song called Over For You, essentially asking the question, like, when was it over for you? Which implies that, like, he was not the one that pulled the plug on the relationship, and so there's this sadness and a bit of skepticism kind of built into the song at the same time. Immediately the most compelling song I have heard from Morgan Evans, even if I don't think the words are that crazy. It's just a very simple, heartbroken song, beautifully delivered. But I'm putting this song near the beginning of the video because the production ruins the song. Not since Chris Young's Drowning has there been a song so robbed of its emotional core by the production as Over For You. The fact that it's almost building like it's the track that plays over the credits at the end of a movie, instead of just the sparse, dark, I'm in the gutter ballad that it was in its original form. Go listen to both versions on Spotify, and the live version you'll hear how he's just a human. It's just him and a piano. There's a cry in his voice. He sort of like speeds up and slows down. It's not perfectly rhythmic, and it just gives the song so much life and so much sadness and so much color, and it's just robbed in the production. And so I think like the song could be a yeehaw, but the production is such a yee-nah, and I would say, yeah, this does feel like it could be a big career moment, and they should just recut it. But as it stands, I just don't understand the production choices on this. These next few songs would kind of be in the yee-blah category. Like, I don't feel great about them. First up is Justin Moore featuring Priscilla Block on You, Me, and Whiskey.
It was you, me, and whiskey all night long.
Ugh, this song is a bore to me. It's just like there, and it does not excite me whatsoever. It's not bad per se. I actually think that Justin and Priscilla both enunciate very well. I actually like their delivery as vocalists, but it's that kind of like sad, mid-tempo, slow burn song, very cliche. It's like, we're burning at both ends, let's throw another one back, and it's just like, I don't know, your standard sexy country radio drinking duet that just feels kind of wah-wah to me. Also, I just can't with the promo picture. I can't. Priscilla's like lit from above. Her eyelashes are causing a shadow on her face, and yet Justin seems to be illuminated from below. It just looks awkward, so, you know, that doesn't help matters. But yeah, I guess, I don't hate it, but I guess it's kind of a light yee-nah. It's a yee-blah. Then I want to talk about Chase Rice's Way Down Yonder.
Way down yonder where the outlaws wander, you can feel
So this is kind of continuing Chase Rice's sort of revamped, more country, slightly western edit that he's doing. He had Key West in Colorado. Now he's got the song Way Down Yonder, which is kind of a darker, gothic song. I thought it was probably written by Hardy because it has this kind of God's country feel, but it was in fact written by Chase along with Hunter Phelps, who writes a lot with Hardy, so, you know, that makes sense. And then you got the guys from 865, John Byron and Blake Pendergrass, as well as Corey Crowder. And yeah, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and to me it feels that way. This song is all about these outlaws that are way down yonder, but it doesn't feel especially outlaw to me. It's stompy, it's brooding, but you know, you do encounter music as the full package. And in this case, it is a highly produced, with a highly produced music video song that is being delivered by Chase Rice, who's usually done a lot more pop country. And I think just like when Dustin Lynch was trying to do his more kind of country edit a year ago, and he was dropping songs like Pasadena and no one really cared, I kind of feel like that could happen to Chase Rice. Like, he's made a very pop country bed, and so it does make it a little less believable coming from him. Like, if I want to hear a song about outlaws that are way down yonder, I want to hear it from like someone truly like irreverent that does a lot of cocaine. I want to hear it from like Paul Cauthen or something like that. To me, it's nowhere near as good as Key West or Colorado, but I do think it's kind of cool, and I like that he's taking a chance and doing something different, and so I just give it a yee. Okay, the next 5 songs are all going to be my light yeehaw category. I like all these. First up is Scotty McCreery's new song, Small Town Story.
It was just black and white, then it all came to life.
Scotty McCreery continues to make music that is unimpeachable when it comes to the music. And on Small Town Story, we actually get a little bit of banjo, which is super different for the Scotty McCreery sound, and his voice is always exemplary. I mean, he's got that deep baritone. He just sounds great. However, he does have a little bit of like Riley Green syndrome, which is just the safest subject matter, very well-worn, standard Southern stories about, you know, love and the South and small towns. And I want to hear something a little bit more revealing, something a little bit darker, edgier, something just weird from Scotty McCreery. Because all the songs he's been dropping recently, he did one about a month ago. He had another song called It Matters to Her that's at radio now.
When you think she don't notice what you're doing there.
I need some weirder edges. Although Playing It Safe seems to be working very well for him. He has like fully rebooted his career. And then we got Gabe Lee with Rusty.
Now I'm rusty.
I love Gabe Lee. Honky Tonk Hell was my #1 album of all of 2020. I also loved Farmland before that. And he is gearing up for his next release. I mean, it might even be out by the time that you see this video. And he's been dropping songs as they come. And the first one was just called Rusty. And this is your standard kind of like Gabe Lee as a wary traveler type song. He is exhausted at this point of life, and he's running out of steam. He feels rusty. It's just kind of like threadbare soul moment of a song. And yet it's got that kind of hopeful edge that a lot of Gabe Lee songs do. It continues driving, and it has this real almost Townes Van Zandt feel to the music. I don't love how this is recorded compared to how something like Honky Tonk Hell sounded. To me, something about the mix of these songs that he's been dropping does feel quite a bit messier. Like, I don't know if they tracked these as a live band or what, but I feel like just like the crispness, the sharpness of it has gotten lost on these songs, which bums me out. But I still think they're great. I think Gabe is great, and it's just kind of this like vintage rocky feel, but I still like it. So it's a light yeehaw. After that, we got Kat Hasty and her new song Burning Down. Kat is a woman scorned on this song, and is just talking about burning down the memory of an old relationship. In some ways, I think this song functions as a sequel to her song Where the Wildflowers Lay, where she talks about like, hey, if you ever come back, I'll be here where the wildflowers lay. Because in this song, she talks about burning everything down and crushing the wildflowers in her hand. And so it's clear she is, you know, she's not open to this guy coming back anymore. This song shows off a lower part of her register than you might have heard on her first couple EPs. It's a little bit of a throatier singing style. And I like this song a lot, but I still, just like I said with Bleed For You, I think I maybe miss a little bit of the sparseness. of her first couple EPs, but I still really, really like this sound. I'm glad Kat is back and putting out music. It's super cool. So, yeehaw, or light yeehaw, whatever. Then we got Giovannie and the Hired Guns with their new song, Overrated. What did I do this time, Mamacita? So if you didn't know, Giovannie and the Hired Guns are one of these Texas bands that's really just a straight up rock band, but we call it Texas country because I don't know. They actually just signed a huge deal with Warner Music Nashville, and that's what's fascinating about them is they're now signed with a Nashville label, but they just dropped this song that, I mean, sounds straight out of the Warped Tour, straight out of like the Co Wetzel playbook. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It's just interesting that Nashville sees what's happening with this whole rock scene, and they're signed to a country label in Nashville. Because, I mean, if you listen to their big song that always comes up on my Spotify, I think it's called Ramon Ayala. It's like a really fun banger, and so is this one, Overrated. If anything, this reminds me of the song Get Over It by OK Go. Lot of nuts, lot of snacks, lot of holes. And it's just got this very jaunty kind of crunchy rock feel with horns even. Like, it's a very kind of whimsical song, very, very fun, not country in the slightest, but I don't know that I'd really like had a moment with Giovannie and the Hired Guns on this channel, and yet I'm just saying, like, I have seen their rise through the Texas country scene, and why they are now on a Nashville country label, I don't know, but I wanted to mention it, and I like the song, regardless of what genre it is. After that, we got Muscadine Bloodline with their latest, Cryin in a GMC. Now I'm sitting in a parking lot, drinking it. Of all the Muscadine songs that have been dropping recently, I feel like everyone is sleeping on this song. I mean, it's very straightforward in a way. It's just like, hey, I was sort of a bad dude, and now I've lost the girl, and I treated you badly, and I'm getting drunk in my car, and I'm going to be here until the sun comes up in the morning. But there's just something so nice about it. It just feels comfortable, almost like a Turnpike song or an American Aquarium song. It feels just like, it just fits. It's like a perfectly fitted glove or something. That awesome kind of almost a little bit collegey country rock sound. Their voices sound great on it. I really like this one. And Muscadine just continues to be killing it. I mean, they really, really are doing so extravagantly well, better than pretty much anyone else I can think of in the independent country game. By which I mean literally independent. Like, they're not on a big label. I got 3 different artists at the top of the heap this week. The first is William Beckmann and his new song, Damn This Heart of Mine. Damn this heart of mine. William Beckmann has been one of my favorite discoveries of this year. I absolutely love bourbon whiskey and its classic crooning country feel, and I really love the folkier style of 30 Miles. That's one of my most played songs of the year. This new one is sort of a little bit of a folk rockier style. It's not so laid back or gentle as those. It's got a little bit more of a driving feel, even some harmonica, but man, William's croon really just carries the song and makes it feel so luxe and expensive. It's like a mix of sad but beautiful crooning, but a little bit upbeat. I just think it sounds so excellent, and think you will love it too. So big, full-throated yeehaw. After that, we got Emily Ann Roberts and her song Whole Lotta Little. We ain't got a whole lot, but we got a lot of little suits me just fine. Emily is not someone I was familiar with. I vaguely knew she'd been a contestant on The Voice, but I recently came across her on TikTok with this fiddle-heavy boot stomper of a song called Whole Lotta Little. And I just thought it was badass. And the melody is just so catchy and almost like a little bit silly. The words are delivered really fast, and she's just saying Lotta and little a lot. And it's even hard to say slowly. But I love it. And I think the whole, like, traditional sound of it and the kind of bluegrassy feel is infectious. It's effervescent. I think there's so much personality in how she delivers things. I went and saw her at Whiskey Jam, and she's just got it. You know, she's just got the charisma. The eyes are engaged. It's fun. She just can perform. And what I have gleaned from watching some of her TikToks is that she kind of struggled after The Voice to really confidently make traditional country music sounds. And she did one of those storytelling TikToks where you talk over the super freaky girl sound from Nicki Minaj, and you tell a story, and she talks about how she kind of lost herself in the industry and then sort of got the gumption to make the music that she really wants to make. And I find that such an inspiring narrative. It reminds me of Kelly Pickler realizing that after American Idol. And I think what has resulted, at least from Whole Lotta Little, is a great song. I mean, it definitely reminds me a little bit of Little Bitty. Oh my gosh. I have to just move on from this one or I'm going to sound really stupid. But it's super fun, lighthearted, not the deepest song in the world, and it certainly ain't trying to be. But we need a fiddle party banger, and Emily has given us one. So, yeehaw. And then I want to finish up the video just talking about Hardy. Hardy has dropped 4 different songs that are from his upcoming album called The Mockingbird and The Crow. The Mockingbird is spelled in lowercase, and it's going to be a country half of this double album, and The Crow is going to be the rock side of things, and that's why everything is in uppercase letters. And, you know, we're in an era of triple albums, so it wouldn't shock me if he names it like The Mockingbird and The Crow and The Zapdos or something, and we get a 3rd album just so, you know, we can pad out the streaming numbers. Just kidding. I don't think Hardy's going to do that. This to me feels like a very serious release and a very serious statement he is trying to make of his own artistry. Now, all the songs here have their merits. I think Truck Bed, at first I thought it was a retread of Boots, and then he references the song Boots in Truck Bed, where he's like, at least I kept my boots on, and I was like, see, now you're smart. You're smart, Hardy. You're self-aware. On Here Lies Country Music, it's this just kind of interesting personification about the things you can and can't say in country music. I think it's interesting. I think Jack is just kind of a fun, reverent rock song, almost like a dark, like thrashy version of Brad Paisley's Alcohol, about all the things that Jack made him do. Ditch me when you wanna, but if you need a little. Jack Daniels, obviously. But the reason I'm talking about Hardy last, and it is my favorite song in this whole video, is because I want to mention the title track of this album, which is The Mockingbird and The Crow. I'm a mockingbird. Which is, I think, going to be the moment where the album actually switches from country into rock. This song stopped me in my tracks. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted just a whole, I was actually wearing this exact outfit. I posted a whole thing on Instagram when I was just blown away driving around and heard this song, because it's an artistic statement. It's incredibly self-aware. It's interesting. I think it's lyrically smart, and I think it just is so different. Just like Wait in the Truck was so different, Mockingbird and The Crow feels super different. Hardy is swinging, and you might not like all the songs, but I want an artist that's always going to be taking swings, and I love that. Here's why I like this song. Hardy describes himself as 2 different kinds of birds. The first is a mockingbird, which is not only the state bird of Mississippi, where Hardy is from, but it's also a bird that repeats things. And Hardy says that's a side of himself. He's a mockingbird, singing songs like other ones that you've heard, and writing songs that are familiar. And obviously, that has been Hardy's life over the last 2 years. Every single artist that's struggling on radio is just like, well, maybe I can release a Hardy song, and that will revive my career. I mean, even freaking Carrie Underwood's current single is the Hardy write on her album. And Hardy's saying, like, yeah, that's a part of me. I'm a mockingbird. I am this Southern emblem that can be a bit repetitive, that wants to say things that feel familiar to you. And yet, I'm the crow. This kind of brash, loud, ominous, annoying, defiant bird. And that's what he is on the other side. He's like, I refuse to be put in this little box, even though I put myself in this little box. He's such like a divided soul on this song. But isn't that so freaking cool when you get this big music switch up where he gets very angry and the guitars get a lot louder? It reminds me of Jonas Brothers' song Love Bug. That has a big switch. What's another big switch up in a song? You know, I can't think of another switch up right now while filming, so we're just going to go with my original Jonas Brothers Love Bug reference. The point is, there's a big switch up and it's very exciting. I just think it's cool. I don't feel so enthralled by music much at this point in my life. Like, there's so much damn music. Most of it feels not bad or good. It's just there. Like, when I look at the releases every week, I'm just like, yep, people are still putting out songs. Like, cool. But this excited me. And just maybe, you know, I'm becoming one of those people. Like, I think this happens to restaurant critics where they're so used to eating food that the only things that really excite them are weird ass crap that a normal person wouldn't even want. Like, I don't want basil ice cream, but they're like, the sumptuousness of the basil ice cream was pristine on the palate or whatever. And maybe that's how I am, and I just want... I mean, I'm talking about Hardy. I'm not talking about freaking basil ice cream. I love the song. It's my favorite song of the week, Giant Yeehaw. But anyway, that is it for me. Congrats to Hardy on having my favorite song for this video. And I know I got to catch up on the albums, but, you know, we'll do it another time. All right, guys, that's it for me. Later.